Okay, welcome to the Marketing My, how to build your personal brand on LinkedIn webinar. Today we're going to be talking about how you can use LinkedIn to really build your personal brand. And what that's going to enable you to do is help you connect with people in your industry, help you build connections for your company that you work for, and in addition, it can also help you find a job. We're going to start off by talking a little bit about your digital footprint. Now, the surge in online networking and Google means that searching online has become the default way of finding information about somebody as quickly as possible. Now, what happens online stays online. Your images, comments, and status updates. You may forget about them, but they're there lingering somewhere. Now, it sounds a bit scary, but these actually give you amazing opportunities to get closer to people. And those are the people who influence you and people that you influence in turn. Now, LinkedIn is filled with professionals. They have a high standard of education and have an average incomes. So not only could these be people that you want to work with, they could be possible clients as well. As I was saying before, LinkedIn's more than just a job hunting site. It enables you to demonstrate what your personal expertise is and the passion that you have for your industry. You can also build networks with peers and influencers. And just like offline networking, it takes time to build relationships, but it's perfect for staying in touch with colleagues. The sort of people you get on pretty well with at work, but when you move job, they're probably not close enough to be your Facebook friends. LinkedIn is also chock full of useful information, and you can find solutions to queries that you may have in the answer section. So, have you ever Googled yourself? It may sound a bit vain, but it's important to be aware of what clients or employers will find when they're looking you up. So, even if you have a common name, you'll find that LinkedIn probably comes up in the first, top 3 results usually, and therefore the more active you are on LinkedIn, the higher up that list you're going to go. So, what does your profile say about you? Is it half finished? Is it out of date? Does it not have a photo? This is the first impression you're giving to somebody. So today I'm going to be talking through the benefits of LinkedIn and how you can really optimize that profile to maximize this platform's performance to connect with people and grow your personal brand. So why use LinkedIn? Like I said before, it can be really easy to lose touch with colleagues when you're moving company. And maintaining a relationship can be very useful, especially if you're staying within the same industry. And LinkedIn's a perfect place to interact and keep track of people. It's also an ideal platform for building your reputation as an expert in your field. Your professional brand is represented online, whether you want it to be or not. By using the technology available, you can easily position yourself as an expert. Demonstrating your knowledge is easy to do through LinkedIn, and I'm going to explain how you can do this in more detail later in the session. Promoting your company. Now, I know today we're not focusing on how this works for your business, but LinkedIn's made it possible now to have company pages, and there's options for people to recommend your products and services. You can also use it to build a network of new contacts. You don't have to personally know people you're connected with on LinkedIn. You can have similar interests, work in the same industry, or have mutual contacts. So it's perfectly acceptable to link in with people you've never met. And it can often be the case you have more in common with someone who works in a different company in a similar role than you would with your immediate colleagues. When it comes to your personal network, bigger is better. You never know how people are connected and who they influence. LinkedIn is marvellous for helping you keep up to date with what's going on in your industry. Not only through your connections and what they post, but also through LinkedIn Today, which is an aggregated news site. You can set up all your personal preferences on the types of stories that you're interested in, and they'll be prioritized for you and popped at the top of your homepage, so every time you log in you get to see them. It's amazingly useful for generating sales leads and finding new clients. If you do work for yourself, your personal brand is so important. And in my experience, I found that I get quite a lot of contacts and clients through LinkedIn. By keeping your profile up to date, sharing relevant news from your industry, it's going to help you stay top of mind with connections. If you're sharing quality content, then it's going to get reshared by connections, and that's going to widen your circle of influence even further. You can also receive recommendations and endorsements on your personal profile. Each one of these adds social proof that you're an expert in your field and you know what you're doing. Your profile also needs to be optimized using keywords that potential connections may be using to search for you. LinkedIn is massive. There are 187 million members now in over 200 countries, and that's with over 10 million in the UK alone. So we're going to talk now a little bit about, what makes an effective LinkedIn profile. First one is your photo. It sounds really obvious, but a current, you may have looked fabulous 5 years ago when you had that blonde do, but if I can't recognise you, it's not good enough. People aren't interested in your car, your dog, the fact that you've got a rocking social life. So make sure the photo is a nice, clear headshot. I always recommend colour rather than black and white because it's easier to make you recognisable. Also, pale background helps. And as you can see from this little screenshot, the image could be pretty small. So the bigger the head in it, the better. You may feel a bit silly, but we need to know that it's really you we met at that seminar last week. Then you have the headline. Now, as you can see from these 3 little examples, this is often the only information someone gets is your name, your title, and a photo. So make it as useful as possible. Now, the top 2 are a bit on the vague side. Partner at Osiers. Now, I don't know what sort of organisation Osiers is, for example. Is it a law firm? Is it an accountant? Is it just, a shop with a dual partners? It could be anything. This should say, if it's a partner in a speciality, I know Osiers is a law firm, so if she's in business law or property law or employment law, etc., that's a really great place to state it. And the fact that Osiers is an international offshore law firm. It all adds a bit more context for people. It helps them understand if you are the right sort of person they're looking for. And the second one you'll see there, the word director. It's so vague. You could be a director of anything. You could be a movie director, for example. The more information is the better. Now, have a look at the bottom one from Lewis Howes, and you can see there, you don't just have to stick to one thing. He has put in the fact he's an author of books, he's founded a sports executive association, and he also does public speaking. Lots of information in there, and you know full well that that is the guy you're looking for. And all those words as well help you be found in search. Then you've got your summary. Now, make this just a bit more than a dull bullet point list. Try and show your personal passion for what you do, and what your goals are before launching into your full resume. By demonstrating a little bit of your personality, your profile's going to stand out, and it's also going to make you more approachable. Write in the third person, use your full name to ensure that you're turning up in search again, and make sure you use words that you would like people to find you for. And try and avoid writing about the company you work for. This is your platform, it's not theirs. Then you have your job history section. For every job you add, you are connected to everyone else who works in that company. So it's really worth putting in as many relevant jobs as you can. We don't need your postal round, your paper round when you were 12. But in your professional career, from, say, post-university, perfect. And make sure you highlight exactly what you did in the role, not just your job title or your job description. Focus on your achievements. Your job description may have read, responsible for managing department budget. But if you manage to slash 10% of wasted spending, make sure you put it down. These two sections also need to be optimized to appear in search. So again, I'm talking about these keywords. They're so important. Then we have our skills and expertise. This is quite a new section. You can add up to 50 different skills to show up on your profile. These skills not only add more depth, but they act, again, as these magic keywords to help you be found. Don't be shy. This is no time for false modesty. Pick as many as you can that are relevant. If you're not sure what skills apply to you, LinkedIn do provide a description for all of them. And once you have these skills on your profile, you can receive endorsements from your connections. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that afterwards. Recommendations. Now, recommendations add to your professional profile, providing social proof that you know what you're doing. A third-party recommendation is really powerful. And the best way to build up your recommendations is by recommending somebody else. But it is important to only provide recommendations for people you truly believe deserve them. Maintain your professional integrity. I've been asked to provide recommendations for ex-colleagues for a position that I've never worked with them in, so I've not done it. If you do ask for a recommendation, make the effort to put your own message in instead of using the default text. After all, if you can't be bothered to personalize the email, why is someone going to bother to take the time to write you a recommendation? It's not unusual to have a request ignored. So don't worry about giving a recommendation and expecting one back. But you do need 3 recommendations on your profile to ensure that it's 100% complete. Now, this is the form that you get to provide recommendations to others. Like I said, give as many recommendations as you feel is appropriate. Every time you recommend someone, it will appear to their contacts. And again, that gets your name out to yet another set of people. Now back to endorsements. These, like I said before, they're quite new. And it's not clear the impact they're going to have. But the great thing about them is they're so much easier to get than recommendations. Because all your connections need to do is click. The quickest way to build up endorsements is by endorsing others. And like I said, it takes you no time at all. Every time you're endorsed, it shows up in your connections news feeds. It's all helping you stay top of mind with that network. It's going to be interesting to see if endorsements are going to have any impact on how well your profile does in search. I expect it will. But, the key thing to remember is, like in recommendations, they are more evidence of your professional ability. So go out there and gather them up. If you are going to visit one of your connections profiles, you will see a box like this. If you're not seeing a box like this, it's probably because your connection hasn't added any skills to their profile. The box only offers a few options, and if you scroll down to the bottom of the page, you're going to see the full list of skills that your connection's added. So go there to do your endorsements. You can have an amazing profile. You can have a studio photo, look fantastic, but if no one can see it and no one can find you, you're going to struggle to increase the size of your network. I recommend opening up your profile so everyone can see this. And you can do that in the settings section, which you'll find in the drop-down menu next to your name at the top right of the screen. Now, in the privacy controls, turn on your activity broadcasts. This means that your activities are popping up in people's news feeds, again, staying top of mind. The only thing I would say is if you are job hunting, you may want to switch this off if you're going to be doing a big overhaul of your profile. There's nothing that says job hunting like a flurry of activity on LinkedIn. I would definitely recommend being open and being findable. I mean, this is a professional site. There shouldn't be anything private on here. So unless you're a secret agent, I really don't think you have anything to worry about by showing everything. So what you can also choose is how people see your profile when you go hunting around on other people's. Now, I like to be a little bit anonymous, so I select the second option when I can. But if you do choose this one, it means you're not going to be able to find out who's visited your profile. Now, if you're providing valuable updates, you're going to make your profile shareable. The more links and comments on your status updates, the wider the sphere of your influence is going to become, because it will get shared into other people's news feeds. You know, ideally look at updating your status once a day. You know, look for links relevant to your specialism. Really easy now with LinkedIn Today. Add to discussions every time you discuss things in groups. That appears on people's news feeds. You know, try and look for things that your target audience, the people you want to connect with, will find valuable and share those. The more you share and comment on other people's status updates, the more likely they are to share and comment on yours as well. It's very much a two-way street. So you've got your profile all set up. Now let's have a look at how you're going to build that network. Bigger is better. So you can start by uploading your personal contacts to LinkedIn. You can add, you can link into your Hotmail, Yahoo, Gmail, etc. And also upload a CSV file from your Outlook contacts. Now, I don't ever recommend linking in with anyone who doesn't have a LinkedIn account already. Realistically, if they haven't got one now, they are not going to be the sort of person that's going to spend a lot of time connecting on there. Ideally, you should send a personal message with each connection invitation that you send. However, if you add all your contacts in bulk, you can't do this, it's a major pain, to be honest. So it may be slower to do it individually, but it's going to be a lot more effective. Now, as I said before, you can connect with people you don't know. Obviously, you will need to send an email so they know why you're connecting with them. And use that message to first introduce yourself. Then, second point, find some common link. If you've got common interest, are you part of the same group? Have you got previous experience in the same firm? Do you have mutual connections? And then finally tell them why you want to link into them. If they get a hint that you're only linking in with them to sell something, they're going to run a mile. Now, this is the form that you're probably quite familiar with to link in with people. Now, most people don't fit in specifically to any of these categories. So, for example, I go to a networking event, I have a glass of wine with someone, I have a connection with them, we chat. When I get back and link them in, I will usually use the friend option. Now, I think it is pretty well accepted that by friend we don't actually mean close bosom chums. but just someone you've met and you've got on with. So again, see where it says include your personal note, that's what you change. That's where you've got the ability to, make a difference by, referring to how you met, etc., etc. Another way of building your network is in LinkedIn groups. There are hundreds of groups, and they seem to have a group on everything. There are some great groups, and there are others that are group graveyards. They've been set up with all the best intentions, but have quickly been abandoned, which isn't surprising. It is quite hard running a group and keeping it going. You can join up to 50 groups, which I did when I first started. And now I spend my time deleting them because I can't follow 50. It's much better to be involved in just a few than trying to spread yourself too thinly. So when you are picking a group, look for an active membership. You will see people commenting, conversing, asking questions, and that's how you can see that the group actually still has a bit of lifeblood flowing through it. And once you've joined, make sure you visit regularly. Once a week would really help. Contribute to the discussions, ask questions, and in this, again, you're building up your profile in a different area. Now, you can also look at starting your own groups, if you have a strong interest. But setting up a group and running it is amazingly time-consuming. And I would think your time is much better spent finding somebody else's group, joining it, and being really active in it. And then you don't have the responsibility either. Another area, which I think gets ignored sometimes, is LinkedIn Answers. It's a great way of connecting with people in your field. Not only that, it's a great place to find information out. You can ask questions as well as answer them. And the great thing is, when you answer it well, you see there, you will get a best answer option. And this shows up on your profile. Again, it's more of a demonstration that you know what you're talking about. So when you are looking to answer things, choose your niche. Can't answer something about everything. Make sure your answer adds value. If you're seeing an answer that already has 20 responses, you're really not going to cut through that. And realistically, you should read all of the answers before you answer it to make sure that you're not repeating what someone else has said. Also, don't self-promote. People can spot it a mile off. It never goes down well. And again, make it more of a conversation by asking your own questions. So that has been a really brief run through of how you can set up your personal brand and build it using LinkedIn. It's an amazing forum. And make sure you use the opportunity. It's an amazing forum. Now, if you'd like to get in touch with me, you can find me at marketingmy.co.uk, on Twitter /marketingmy, and facebook.com/marketingmy. I'm always happy to answer questions where you find me. And next month we are going to have a month off. It's Christmas. And we will be back fighting in the new year for some fabulous new topics. Thanks for joining me.